Zeus, king of the gods, was not the most faithful to his wife Hera. He slept with many mortal women, which infuriated Hera. Of these relations, demigod Heracles was born, much to Hera's frustration. She held a grudge against Heracles for the infidelity he was born into. As revenge, one night she drove Heracles stark raving mad, causing him to kill his wife and children without a second thought. Heracles was distraught and went to the Oracle of Delphi for help to find out how to repent for his crimes. Hera also took control of the oracle, however, and tricked Heracles into serving Eurystheus as punishment. Eurystheus gave Heracles 12 seemingly impossible tasks to complete to absolve him of his crimes. These are known as the 12 labors. Heracles' first labor was to kill the Nemean lion, whose skin was impenetrable by arrows or other metal. Heracles trapped the lion in a cave and strangled it to death with his bare hands. He then returned to Eurystheus with the lion skin. Heracles from here on is often seen wearing this lion skin. Eurystheus was incredibly frightened when Heracles returned, as he thought the task was impossible. He hid himself in a brass vase partially buried in the ground that was kept for emergencies, and would only contact Heracles through herald. Heracles' second labor was to kill the Lernaean Hydra. At first, Heracles went to town, cutting off the 9 heads like a pro. However, for each severed head 2 more grew. In the end, he asked his nephew Iolaus, who had accompanied him, to cauterize the necks of the beast when Heracles cut off the heads. He then buried the final immortal head in the earth and covered it with a rock. Heracles' third labor was to capture the hind of Cernia, a female deer with golden antlers. The hind was a favorite of the goddess Artemis, and Heracles knew he could not kill it for fear of having another goddess seeking vengeance upon him. After a year of hunting the hind, Heracles managed to shoot it in the leg and injure it just enough to capture it. On his way to deliver it, however, he was caught by Artemis and Apollo, and he had to explain the oracle's order before they would let him go. The fourth labor was to capture the Erymanthian boar alive. The boar came down from the mountain every day, causing destruction and death in its path. When Heracles found the boar, he chased it around the mountain, screaming at it until it was out of breath. Heracles then drove it into deep snow and trapped it. For the fifth labor, Eurystheus told Heracles to clean King Augeas' stables in a single day. This king had the most cattle out of anyone in Greece, and these herds stayed in the stables every night, never being cleaned. Clever Heracles tore 2 holes in opposite sides of the stable and diverted a river so it would run through and clear out all the dung. Heracles' sixth labor required him to remove the Stymphalian birds. These birds were man-eaters and caused great conflict in the town of Stymphalos. Goddess Athena helped Heracles, giving him a pair of bronze noisemakers made by the god Hephaestus. Heracles sounded them, and the birds took off out of the trees. Heracles then used a bow and arrow to shoot them out of the sky. Eurystheus had Heracles beat the Cretan bull next as his seventh labor. King Minos of Crete had angered Poseidon, and Poseidon had sent a rampaging bull all over Crete and made Minos' wife fall in love with it. Heracles wrestled the bull easily and sent it to Eurystheus, who let it roam free in Greece. The eighth labor were the man-eating horses of Diomedes. Heracles tamed the beasts by feeding them their own master, and then sent them to Eurystheus, who let the beasts free. They were eventually eaten by wild animals on Mount Olympus. For his ninth labor, Heracles had to retrieve Hippolyta's belt. Hippolyta was queen of the Amazons, a tribe of warrior women. Heracles brought a whole ship of men with him for help. Hippolyta promised Heracles the belt, but Hera wasn't satisfied with this easy task and made the Greeks and Amazons battle for it instead. The 10th labor required Heracles to steal the cattle of Geryon, a descendant of Medusa. He had to slay Geryon in order to complete the task. To complete the 11th labor, Heracles had to steal the apples of the Hesperides, which were given to Zeus by Hera for their wedding. After many stops along the way, Heracles had to hold the world while Atlas stole the apples, and then tricked Atlas into taking the whole world back onto his shoulders, quite literally. Finally, Heracles' 12th and final labor was to go to the underworld and kidnap Cerberus, the 3-headed dog-snake-dragon beast. Hades decided Heracles could take Cerberus, but only if he could do it by brute force alone, no weapons. After Cerberus was presented to Eurystheus, it was returned to the underworld, and Heracles was finally absolved of his crimes. Zeus in return then made Heracles a god, and Heracles became immortal.
Created using Powtoon.